Hey there, friendlies. How's up? I'm just checking to see that the microphone's actually working tonight because that is fun whenever I come on and nothing's going. Excuse me. Um, Welcome to the 22nd of July episode of my fantabulous little online home. We call this the Bevies, Blades, and Bushcraft live stream, where we got us some bevies, we got us some blades, and in fact, we do on occasion talk about something bushcraft adjacent. Tonight, in fact, I do want to talk about something bushcraft adjacent. I was thinking about this today. Uh, no, it was today. It was this morning. Um, sort of pining for the woods and everything, and thinking about how I would love to be sitting there doing the things that I like to do in camp. And I guess I was wondering, everyone's got their own little rituals that they like to do at camp. I don't mean like you only cut your steak this way, or you always turn mix the coffee clockwise. I mean rituals in that. Um, some people like to sit there and write out something in their head, or write about, you know, sitting by the fire at night is like. Some people like to video everything for their channel, right? Some of us like that. Um, some people just like to sit and stare at the stars. Some families always bring board games to camp, and so I was just wondering how wide a gamut of things like that this little group we've got represents. How, excuse me, like how many things like that some of you guys or all of you guys might do when you go to camp. There's all kinds of things that I only use at camp, right? Like my tiny little Nesmik. That's my camp food prep knife. I don't use that at the house. I mean, for something like an axe, it's very obvious, but for certain other things, maybe it's not so. You know, so that's what I'd like to talk about tonight. I think it'll be interesting. I don't have for reading about it, although, I mean, if you read some of the old school woodcraft books, you get a sense that these guys, you know, their after supper pipe was like a ritual or whatever. I mean, the voyageurs had all kinds of things that they did not just in terms of, you know, put up the canoe, start a fire, get your bedroll ready. I mean, that's camp ritual as well. But I don't mean in terms of keeping the camp rolling. I mean in terms of just the stuff that settles your head, or the stuff that you just do for the enjoyment of it, but you always do at camp. I don't want to be dogmatic about this. I mean, if it is something that you also like to do at home, but you always do it at camp, I want to hear about it. In the meantime, I should probably say hi to some peeps because there's already 59 comments and it's only 9:04. Now it's probably all the same 4 people or something, but I'm gonna I'm gonna say hi to those who said hi anyway. And while I'm catching up, I invite you to please comment like what your camp rituals are. I want to talk about them. Canadian popped in at 8:44, which is about 30 seconds after I hit the post button on this live stream, I believe. Mark Davidson, number 2, popping in at 8:45. Both of those guys are channel heroes. Canadian says he hopes we're all having a decent beginning of the week. I guess I am. Mark is in a heat dome. That sucks. Sorry to hear that, Mark. Right now, it kind of felt like September yesterday here. It kind of felt like September here yesterday. Mr. Peanut Trucker, Chris is here. He's a channel mod, by the way, so it'll be nice. Or get road hammered into mulch. He's ready for winter. I guess where Chris lives, I would probably be ready for winter too, for sure. Country boy, how you doing, mister? How's it going? Can Asia's like, no. But don't you like go to Florida or Louisiana or something for part of the winter? Or do you just spend the whole time touring the world on cruise boats? Oh no, you're still working, but Country boy will take winter over summer any day. Um I would say that in many ways summer is my least favorite season. I don't do well with heat, but I don't I don't mind winter. I don't like shoveling. Like I don't love winter. As I've always said, I like winter more since having kids and discovering snowshoes than I did before. I do love fall though. I love spring, I love fall. I like winter and I like summer. See, my love is for the two shoulder seasons, the ones where the world is in a state of change. Um, Canadians, 64 years of winter. I'm about sick of snow, ice, and cold. I mean, I sort of really buy into the, you know, um, northern people's element of being Canadian. Christy's here. Nice to see you, Chris. Christy. Christy's a channel hero. By the way, so is Country Boy. Country Boy is a channel hero and a channel mod. I say it all the time. I say it all the time, and it's still true today. Up, Chris is running up to Iowa. How far is that from where you are right now, Chris? Canadians had an interesting few weeks. I think, are you talking about professionally or both professionally and family? I'm just gonna skip down a little bit. Everyone's sort of saying hi. Bum. Destiny is in the house making supper and listening. I made steak tonight for Cody and me. And what are those mini potatoes called? We call them grelots in Quebecois. Mini potatoes. Put them in half, toss them in a bowl of oil, cover them with like smoked paprika, garlic powder, and onion powder, and then air fry. Steam some, not cabbage, not cauliflower, broccoli. It was delish. Country Boy says, looks like I'm going to have to donate to get a number beside my name. Really? I did not know that. Damn it, YouTube. What are you doing? Country Boy is asking Destiny what I'm wondering. What is for supper? Oh my God, I'm tired. Destiny's already... Oh, Peanut Trucker did pork chops with cheese eggs on top. I do not know what a cheese egg is. Canadian got an ad. I got a French ad. Yeah, I get French ads all the time practically these days. Doesn't matter to me. I skip ads anyway. It is because you are in the nation's capital region, if I remember correctly. So you're going to get some French adverts. Christy's asking what Destiny is making. She made salsa verde chicken, crockpot meal, chicken, garlic powder, oregano, and a jar of salsa verde. Cook on low 8 hours, shred, and serve over rice. That actually sounds pretty damn good. I do like salsa recipes. Uh, skipping on down. Wait, and top with shredded cheese. Yep, I think that's great. I love that. Oh my land, there's the LT. It's been a minute. How you doing? How you doing, LT? Do we have any new knives to show? I don't think so. Did I show you guys this Leatherman when I got it a few weeks ago? I don't know where the tiny little pocket knife is. Oh, it's upstairs in my room. But yeah, nice to see you, LT. I'm just trying to get to the bottom. Destiny says leftover fettuccine alfredo with a fresh Caesar salad. I do love a Caesar salad. Absolutely do. Oh, Country Boy is actually engaging with my question. Don't know if it's ritual or OCD, but organizing the firewood and axes is calming to me. I do like playing with the axes. Absolutely. Okay, but actually, Country Boy, here's a question. Do you reorganize the firewood a few times over the time you're at camp? Because then it might be OCD. If it's the thing you do when you arrive at camp is like, this must be done, then I would call that a ritual for sure. And I understand like there are certain things that calm me as well. Absolutely. In fact, I'm out there to be calmed, right? I'm out there to lessen the noise. Christy, when we get to camp, we level the trailer together. Then I set up the inside and Steve sets up the outside. A little bit of division of labor there. I would also probably prefer to set up the outside. The missus will set up the inside the way she likes it to run. I'll set up the outside the way I like it to run. And everybody's happy. For sure. Chris, you got an ad. Who else has an ad? I don't see an ad yet. What time was that at? Oh, that was like 5 minutes ago. Hike with Mike is in the house. How you doing, Hike? Mike? Oh my God, I haven't done that in a while. Sorry, Mike. Hey, folks, this 1980s metalhead is bummed out tonight with the passing of Ozzy. I was saddened to see that as well. I was in a metal band back in the early 90s. More of a sort of more on the Metallica side, I guess, but I came later in life to really appreciate bands like Ozzy's, and AC/DC, and all those sort of that segment of like Iron Maiden, that segment of metal. I think because I came to associate that sound with a simpler time in my life, maybe. And so, when I saw the news this morning or this early afternoon, whatever it was earlier today, like this BBC thing popped up on my phone, and it had just he's passed. His family says that's it. So I don't know what the cause of death was, but now I'm wondering if maybe they recently played their last show because he knew this was coming. You know. Christy will always take fall and winter every time. Well, yeah, but you live on the surface of the sun, so I don't blame you. Jim popping in to say howdy. See y'all after my crew goes home as well as I. Okay, we'll see you a little bit later. I hope you have a safe drive home. Just let me check something here. Just want to make sure my. Whoops. Yeah, I wonder what he died of. I wonder. Yeah. Oh well. Peanut Sugar says, when we camp, we always walk at sunset after cooking supper. Then ice cream. After dark, we play gin rummy, That's about it for rituals. But that's legit. Taking a walk after supper, after there ain't no walk like a forest walk or a beach walk or a meadow walk, as the sun goes down and the stars come out. It's a whole lot better than a walk around the block after supper, you know? Um, I remember this walk that the missus and the kids and I took uh, last time we went out camping a couple of years ago. There was a nocturnal forest walk, like a guided forest walk after dark. And on our way, like we all sort of met up near the whatever it was, the service center or whatever the central, where they have the store and all that stuff, um, the camp store. And then we all walked down to the shoreline and along and through some woods and stuff. And when we got down to sort of near the shoreline, it was like a sky full of stars down at ground level because there were so many fireflies. There's an I don't want to use the term epic because it's not an epic. There's an element to an after supper walk in the forest that you're never ever gonna get, no matter how suburban your home is. You're never gonna get that same magic. The smell of the forest after, because the smell of the forest after dark is much richer and wetter and livelier than the forest during the day, for sure. During the day the forest looks spectacular, but the real magic is the smell that comes out after dark. So I like that ritual, Chris. Mark Davidson agrees with Country Boy on the firewood. Peanut Trucker is currently in Grand Island, Nebraska tonight, about 6 hours away. Okay, so it's not like a 3-day run. Like Mike says, I camped out 2 days ago, the first time in many months. It was good to be back camping in the woods. I am dying to go camping. Dying to go camping. Country Boy, no announcement about the death. He had Parkinson's and a number of health issues over the past few years. Parkinson's is that's a bad hand to be dealt. Okay, so cheese eggs are a runny yolk with melted cheese on top. Okay, I didn't know that. Chris says, oh, he had emphysema and Parkinson's. Okay, he was in a bad way. LT's been moving out of Quebec City. Oh, after separation and the sale of the house. Whoops. Okay, won't ask you too many questions in public, but I'm sorry to hear that. So where are you moving to? Heck with Mike says OCD is a blessing, but also a curse. It's definitely a curse on the people you live with. That's all I'm going to say that. Country Boy says it's both initial setup, right? Oh, and then constant reorganization as the wood depletes. I do a little bit of that, but not like. And then that's too big. Like, no, I just, as the wood depletes, like if it looks like a part of the pile is gonna flop over or something, like I like it to stay kind of even so that there's no chance of something flopping over and taking out one of my kids or something. Like with Mike loves Iron Maiden. Fair enough. Christy says, one thing we always do is play Farkle. It's a fun dice game. Okay. I've never heard of it. And neither has Chris. Oh, Chris says it was a 3-day run. I left Southern California Monday morning. Okay, so you're partway through a run. Okay. Yep, Michael J. Fox does have Parkinson's. Okay, and I've caught up on the Cheetah McChat. I'm gonna take a sip of water to make this go a little better. Whoops. Yeah, Michael J. Fox does have Parkinson's. My dad's father-in-law had Parkinson's. It's just such a terrible hand to be dealt. You moved to Saint-François de la Rivière du Sud since I work on the South Shore. Okay. Do you have a place, or are you looking for a place now? More water. I think, like, Chris is asking if I prefer a tent or maybe a travel trailer one day. I may one day have to get a trailer. I mean, already my joints sort of pop and creak, right? But for now, I prefer a tent or even a hammock. I've got a great little tent that that Tenenbaum gifted me when he came to Canada a few years ago, that I have used and absolutely adore. I've got a good high quality hammock as well. But I have started using like an air mattress. Like, I'm not sleeping straight on the ground anymore. I am way too old for that. I'm not in cadets anymore. I'm not like I'm not a commando, I'm out there to enjoy myself, not to like, God, it hurts. I do have a very vague memory of when I was a kid and we lived in Saint Boniface in Manitoba, that we had one of those pop-up trailers, like when you're driving down the street or the highway, it just looks like a flat box with wheels. Then when you get there, like, I think you lift up the top and the two beds come out and it's like a tent in the box. I have a very vague memory of that. But all my memories before the age of about 21 are vague or non-existent. So, like, I couldn't tell you what color it was, but I do get the feeling it was like a white box with sort of a brownish, totally 70s kind of striping. LT's got a house and 53,000 square feet of land. That sounds nice. Hi, good. Mike is a tent guy. Okay, yeah, I think I knew that. He does. He was diagnosed when he was still a young man. It's a brutal disease, but he's raised so much money for research. He's a good Canadian kid. Oh, that's Michael J. Fox. Yeah. Yeah. Country Boy is a truck bed guy with a hard canopy to give me a chance if a bear comes snooping around. I would feel claustrophobic if I was sleeping on a truck bed with the hard canopy. I mean, I know you're not talking about the tonneau cover, but I know you mean that sort of thing that comes up with like a little window along the side. But I would feel a little claustrophobic in there. Peanut Trucker says, we like the travel trailer because we can get in the AC during the summer and the heat for the cold nights. Plus, if it rains, it's good for shelter. Yeah, and your travel trailer is so cool too. Can you post a link to the website so that we can talk about them? Because I don't remember what they're called, but I sure do remember what they look like, and it is a very cool trailer. And I think you got the red one, right? Yeah, I've done enough camping in British Columbia back in the day to know that when a good rainfall kicks up, you do want some quality shelter. I do know that. I'm gonna have to take one of these guys. I have no idea. Actually, I do know. I mean, I'm allergic to dust. That's why I'm always like snorking and horking. I'm allergic to dust. Postnasal drip is a byproduct of that. So I've got all these things that I have to do to not promote histamines. So like I've gone from 6 cups of tea a day down to 1. I can't eat a lot of citrus or spice, like good luck, or cheese or something. Minimize caffeine. I like anything that makes life worth living. Can't do. Yeah, red. Yeah, I remember that. Christy says, we love our travel trailer, but when we start traveling around the country in Canada, we want a drivable. Oh, like a motorhome kind of thing? Hagan Mike says, I finally camped out. I finally camped out solo this weekend, but I was nervous about bear encounters. After my intense backwoods encounter in the Green Swamp alone, it was intense. Yeah, I could see you sort of being a little wary for sure. Country says the claustrophobia took me some time to overcome, but I can actually sleep knowing there's more than thin ripstop fabric between me and the hunger bear. That's true, and especially the part of the country you're in. Here it's black bears, right? If you scare one or you get between one and its cub, you're in trouble. But they're not grizzlies. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not walking tanks looking to brawl the way grizzlies are. I'm opening this link in a new tab, and then I shall share it. Okay, so that's not sharing yet, right? Show on screen. Okay. So yeah, you see, like really cool little trail. Wait, hold on a second. Go away. So there's a bunch of different like models. What size is yours, Chris? Did you say? I know we've had this conversation, but the 149. Okay. They got all kinds of models. Am I looking at the right model, Chris? Destiny asks Mike, well, I wait for Chris to answer. What happened? If you don't mind sharing and it's not triggering for you, geez, you're lucky you're okay. Coach Hike said he uploaded a video about it. Hey, David Evans in the house. How you doing? Hold on. David says, and this is logic. Important to remember when you encounter a bear, you don't need to outrun the bear, just the person you are with. Words to live by. Grace is a little late to the party, but saying hi. That's okay, Grace. I did forget to say that excuse me. um, Grace is a channel hero. David Evans is both a channel hero and a channel mod. I gotta make sure I keep mentioning that. So yeah, um, look at this interior, guys. Oh, they won't let me click to enlarge the pictures? What kind of crap is that? But the reason I like these things is because, oh, you'll let me zoom that one. Great. Is because um it's cool to see that like the companies are still really like making these things and making them cool, you know? Like it's got a really sort of retro look in some ways. Like there's some real modern accoutrement on this, but just the basic shape and basic look of it, like this could be from 1982, you know? This could be from like 1979. That 109 is the coolest looking. That's the coolest one they make, but I mean, it's pretty basic. I thought was more basic than that, but I guess it's an option of the wood trim. Paint trigger, that's the one. Yeah, okay. Um, this is not what Christy has though. I don't remember what Christy has, but I think she said once. um, Mike says, I banged on the campfire ring and sang Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song and it went away. Note to self, bears hate immigrant song. Okay. um, Chris says, how's that dram going to taste after that cough drop? Do you have cheese? Yeah, I know. I'll drink some water. I'll drink some water. Because I do not. Hey, home yummy in the house. I guess I can stop sharing that. But yeah, they're really cool. And they don't seem to be crazy expensive, if I remember correctly. Um, but yeah, if I was to do the trailer thing, I'd want it to be something relatively basic. Like when we do the the festival gigs in Alberta every year, nobody does big and over the top like Alberta does, man. Alberta is Texas in the north in many, many ways. I mean, right down to the truck nuts. Um, and the big, whatever the current analog to the fuck Trudeau or let's go Brendan flag is. But some of these people drive in there with campers the size of like big ass buses and they've got everything. And I just like, and so they drive in, they back in, they plug into the power outlet at the back of the RV parking campsite, and it's like they never left home. They've even got TVs in there. I'm like, for what I look for when camping, this does not fulfill my needs. And, and they're so expensive. They can be so expensive. My dad went to an RV show in BC, and he says, "You don't have to work that hard to hit $500,000 on these things." And if I'm spending $500,000 on a vehicle, it's going to say Aston Martin. Just kidding. It's going to have sales. Like if I'm going to spend that kind of stupid money on a recreational vehicle, it's going to have sales, and it's going to be 40 feet long. I think Chris just put up a listing for a sunray like his. Now this is a used one. Did you? Oh, did you guys buy used or brand new? So essentially 19 grand US. Is the 149 like 16 feet long? But I think they're closer to like 29, 28, 30, 32, something like that. Brand new. Going purely by memory. Oh, it says 3402 for MSRP right there. Okay. I mean, does anything really sell for MSRP these days? Charles and Annie in the house. How are you doing? We're talking about camp rituals tonight, Charles and Annie. Like things that you always do at camp. I haven't even told you guys what my camp rituals are yet. I was too busy saying hi to everybody. Everybody. Kristen is the mother of all campers. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember what she has. Destiny's asking Charles and Annie how they are tonight. The weather here is dreadful and cold. Now I have a general idea of where Destiny is. Where we are tonight, it does feel like fall. It's a kind of a cool week, but I mean, even at that, like right now, it is 18 degrees, but the high tonight is 22. The low is 12, but the high is 22. Something was happening upstairs, but I don't know what. Chrissy says ours is a 40-foot Jayco travel trailer. What the hell are you using to pull that? You got like a F-150, an F-250 or something? You gotta have something big to haul that. Charles and Annie, good there. Lots of rain. They have 1,000 kiter. I'm thinking liter rainwater tank filled up in 15 minutes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think what's happening there is, and like my dad knows a few people who've done this. Your kids no longer live with you. You've both retired. You want to see the continent, or you want to see the whole of the Southwest. So you sell your house and you buy one of those and you just go, because there's nothing keeping you to the, it keeps you from being an empty nester. You're spending all your time on the road, seeing new things, all that kind of thing. I think that's what's going on when you throw a half mil at one of these ginormous, because what you need in that kind of case, and this is not a case that I would necessarily go for, by the way. I'm just saying that some people do this. You really do need to have a house on wheels, right? You need the mod cons because you're living in it. You're not just camping in it, you're living it. It's your home for at least a year or longer. Maybe you just want to keep on going, right? Maybe you just want to keep on discovering what's around the next curve. So whereas I would never spend that money and I don't want something that massive, I see the use case. 2140. I'm opening whiskey in about 18, 19 minutes, depending on what I'm having. This is new, but I'm not opening it tonight because I need to bottle some stuff down before I open new bottles. It's getting down to bottle down territory. But I think even though I don't want to be showing bourbon on my channel right now, that's bottle down territory. I got to get rid of that as soon as possible, or it's just not going to be enjoyable anymore. It's just not going to be enjoyable anymore. Um, David says, when our kids were growing up, we had an 18-foot travel trailer. It was very basic, but met all our needs. I like the basic. I like basic because I like feeling that I'm not at home with all my mod cons. Like, I don't want to have a camping trailer that has two 28-inch 4K monitors, a DSLR, and a beefy um, video editing computer, right? That I feel I've taken home with me, and I hit the woods to decompress and to separate myself from the day to day for as long as I'm there. I don't want satellite TV. I don't want um, like an electric stove. I bring along a gas stove because sometimes, you're up in the morning and you just want to make the coffee for the missus, the tea for yourself, and some scrambled eggs for the kids. Like, you don't want to be going through the pageantry of a campfire for that, you know. But yeah, I love basic. It works for me. Marcus popping in. Happy Tuesday, Marcus. Yeah, popping in at what time was that? 9:36. So I'm still a little late, but good to see you, Marcus. How you doing tonight? Yours is new. Couldn't find the red one. Oh, I don't know why I thought you had the red one. Or we talked about the red one, I think. 16 feet long, yeah. Oh, you paid $12,590. Nice. Okay. So that's even better. That's even better. Um, Destiny would love a Fiat Ducato van with LPG fridge stove and a mini cubic wood stove. But damn, it's a low riding for camping spots. Yeah. Yeah. I let me see if that's what I think it is. Because it's a delivery truck, isn't it? Hold on. Oh yeah. Um, I have never seen that with the Fiat plate on. No, I think I have. So yeah, you sort of do the van life thing, right? You buy one of those and you build it up. Fiat Ducato. Uh, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here. I got a little lost. Homie still hasn't been camping. Oh man, you're missing out. You gotta go. Gotta find a beautiful spot. Spend at least early days for camping. Go for a weekend. Well, don't go for the 5 day or the 10 day until a year. Like, you've got a bunch of weekends under your belt, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to move it up. Um, but yeah, so those of you who've joined later, the conversation tonight is about uh, camp rituals, the things that you do whenever you go camping, and some of them can be like Christy said that whenever they go, they park the camper, and then she sets up the inside, and Steve sets up the outside. There's been a bunch of things. Country Boy organizes the wood and the axes a couple of times over the course of the trip. Um, there was some good food prep stuff. Chris said that after supper they take a you know a walk in the countryside. Excuse me. Um, so that's what I'm asking, what everyone's little rituals are. Whether they're stuff like organizing this and that, or it's just I after eating, right, and cleaning up my stuff, put all the sharps away, right? Like I do a little knife and axe maintenance, whatever, put them away, and I sit there with no lantern on or anything, just staring at the fire, and having a whiskey, well, sometimes a beer, um, but having a drink and just being in the nature, staring into the fire, hearing the crackle and the pop, looking up, seeing the stars. You know, um, earlier in the day when I like take a break or whatever, I'll just sit there and maybe I'll do a little journaling or something. But like the after supper thing for me, or like if I was camping with the kids, once the kids have had their burnt marshmallows or s'mores or whatever and gone to, you know, curled up in their sleeping bags every night, sit in the fire. What? Burn your arse? Sit at the fire and just enjoy the sensation of the fire and the nature around. I have just received something from um mm, so pretty. Hold on. Oh, I see. You do have the red one. Okay, but you couldn't find it on Google. I'm covering your name. Oh, no, your name's not showing up. Look at that. That is so cool. Whoop, what was that? Yeah, that is so, so cool. Hold on. What the hell? Uh, it looked like I got a message from LT, but I do not see it. Oh, I can't show this LT because it's got all kinds of geographical info. Nice. Nice place, though. Cool. Very nice. Well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're landing on your feet. That's for sure. Um, Russell loves everybody. We all love him too. Um, Hold on. Dodge 3500. Okay. Nice big wheels. That's for sure. Destiny says 13 degrees Celsius here and thickly overcast. Lots of rain. We may have to turn on the heater tonight. So what did I say just right now? Right now it's 18. The low today is 12. It did feel a little chilly this morning. I will tell you that. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. 1,000 liters filled in 15 minutes. That's a hell of a rainstorm. Yeah, I saw it. Obviously, I'm not going to show it on the live stream because that's your private info there. But yeah, cool place. Um, Charles says his daughter lives in a camper that they travel all over the U.S. in. Not sure about the size. That's a lifestyle, eh? You live in a trailer, or you do maybe the van life thing. You just travel everywhere. Get a YouTube channel. Marcus's dogs are doing great. We're off camping for a week starting Sunday. They always enjoy that. Thanks for asking. Man, it's going to be great. Love it. Yeah, country boy, exactly. It's gonna be ruined, and that bottle I cannot allow to spoil for sure, for sure. Um, we already had the age discussion on this, right? So good, so good. I may as well just pour it now. That is an energetic pour. Oh, no, it's not. It's all right. There we go. But yeah, I agree. It's too good to allow to spoil. I'm just taking a look. Country Boy is telling Destiny to get a Delica. Those things are awesome off road. What? Christy says, check out the 2025 Coachman Beyond 22D B van. Matt's RV does a review of it. This is the best B van I have seen. Good to know. I will look that up later. Hold on. Let me write it down. So I don't. Coachman Beyond 22D. So yeah, I'm just opening it up so that I can not lose it. Oof. These campers are something else. Destiny, it absolutely rides higher for sure. Like with Mike says, I'm already missing being out in the woods with tonight's conversation. I am missing it as well. That's for sure. I'm just taking a look. That's why I haven't posted in the last 6 months. I can see that being a life in upheaval there, LT, for sure. Sorry to hear about the separation. I hope that everything ends up. Sorry about that. I hope that everything ends up well for you. Jim is starting his 30-minute drive, but first your camp after setup is carving tools around the fire. Oh, your camp after setup is carving tools around the fire. Yep. That sounds pretty good. I usually do some carving, like a spoon or something, but I don't do it every time I go out. Carving a spoon next to the fire, it does have a certain Zen magic to it, though. That's for sure. Peanut Trucker says we also do the setting up the same. Yours is the outside, she does the inside. That's probably fairly common, I think. Can everyone see David Evans in a big bus RV trucking down the interstate? Yeah. Elbow at the window. Near home. Try to catch me riding dirty. Russell says, my camper is on concrete piers. Very easy to set up, almost nothing to do. I will never not make that joke. Fair enough. Mike tries to walk in the woods every day. It's good for the mental and spiritual health. Absolutely. In fact, studies have shown that you are absolutely right. In fact, I don't remember, excuse me, who this was or which university they were working at. It was somewhere in Toronto or Vancouver. But they discovered that taking a walk around your neighborhood, even seeing a weed growing up through the crack in the sidewalk, scratches some of that gaiophilia. It's good for your headspace. I mean, better if you walk through the park and see the trees. Better if you sit in your garden and enjoy the sunshine. Better if you're actually in the woods, obviously. But every little bit is actually good for your headspace, which is interesting. David Evans would love to have a Ford Transit converted into a camper. Pam and I are talking about selling our place in Florida and getting one. Driving all over. You've been everywhere, man. Country Boy agrees. He says nothing better for the soul than the forest, and I also agree. the forest, a nice camp, maybe a nice canoe. Jennifer started her new job at the airport throwing luggage, wing walking, and loving it. It's totally different from the office job she's done for 7 years. Nice. That's a bit of a transition. What happened there? Why'd you do that transition? Yeah, LT has his own private little woods to make videos in. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds amazing, LT. For sure. Mike with Mike. I just uploaded a video today, so take a look at that. That is called "When You Walk Out of the Woods, You're Better Than When You First Walked Into the Woods." Are you eating pickles? Yeah. What are you having? To what? Yeah, I thought you were having pickles. I was gonna say, bring me one. No, it's okay. Okay. When's my break? 11. Sorry, peeps. Oh, to everyone, Cody says hi. Oh, the doctor she worked for retired, so she's off on an adventure. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. 21:57, so it's going to be whiskey time in 3 minutes. Look at how pretty that is. Smells good. Just taking a look here. Okay. I clicked on that I see what's happening. They're all saying hi. I think she's gone back upstairs. Oh, she's going back upstairs. LT. I got this little Leatherman. One of my work buddies picked it up for me at Costco. It's the Skeletool. Because I know that we've talked about multi-tools before. And like I had that old Fuse, I think it was called, that old discontinued Leatherman that I can't find anymore. And it came with a pocket knife that is literally just this piece right here, like detached from the Skeletool, and it has a pocket clip that has a bottle opener on it. But anyways, new knife. Well, okay, new multi-tool, but it's got a knives on it, so it counts, right? Thought you might be interested. Hi, good Mike is telling y'all to hit the like button. Allow me to reload. No, I'm not even going to. I have no idea how many likes we got. Yes, I made them, and in fact, I just took them out tonight. I was going to take a picture to show you, but I was starting to hurry up so I could get down here. They're perfect. One of them's not, but they're sized for like a Collins glass. In fact, I was going to make a Japanese scotch and soda for tonight's live stream, but I don't want to open that bottle until something else is downed. 2,300. Who's drinking whiskey with me? Who's drinking anything with me? Russell, what are you having? Russell often has some fabulous beer. Look at that color, peeps. Look at that. Peanuts, caramel, little marzipan, bready notes. So what is this? 51% corn, something malted barley, 65% corn, 25% what's blé? Wheat, and 10% malted barley. Never cold filtered. And I want to say that not caramel colored either, because this is finished in sherry, so that color could come from the sherry butts. So good. Mm, yeah. Um, Marcus, maybe I've got like no time because on the 8th I'm leaving for my Alberta trip, so my days are getting filled up pretty fast. Um, I'll send you pictures at one point. I was gonna say I'll do a call with you, but I'm not gonna have time. I don't want to make that promise and then like leave you hanging. But I'll send you pictures. Um, Nice little multi-tool knife. Do you still find the knife I gave you, or is it missing? No, it's in the tablier apron that I do my whiskey and my cocktail lives with. I use it for opening, like if I have a brand new bottle of something, because part of the conceit of that channel is that I always open a new whiskey with um, a bushcraft knife or an axe or something, and so I extend that to my cocktail making by using, because let's face it, a folder is just a whole lot safer in the kitchen, right? So that's what that gets used for. Um, Peanut Trucker says nice color. Yeah, it's a very nice color. It's beautiful. Christy is having a drink. What are you having? You having the JB or something? Why are my kids up at 11? Qu'est-ce qui se passe là? Hmm. Anyway, you're gonna have cognac because it's the only bottle that's not in a box and open. Cognac is a nice choice, dude. There are some cocktails that I make with cognac that I just love. Oh, and I have this bottle as well. Just making sure your name is covered. It'll Gautier VS. I have that cognac as well. In fact, it's my go-to for cocktails. Come on, man. Focus, will you? Yep, good choice. Um, I'm just looking for, yes. Chris says, my sister that comes back every September got the house on the beach with the elevator again. It's supposed to be working now. Oh, you're having the bullet. All right. Nice choice. Uh, no, I spoke to them in French because the missus is up there as well. I know they're giggling about something, but they're doing it in French. So I was. I have no idea what's going on up there. Are you guys hearing this? We do try to have like French Friday or French Thursday or something, just to make sure, because to make sure that the kids are maintaining their French. Okay, you hear them, but it's really low. Okay. Okay, they're talking about Cody's broken ankle, how it's affecting her on the basketball court. Restaurant says, giggling in French, sacré bleu. We don't say sacré bleu in Quebec. Oh, I see. Cody has a friend on the phone, and the message is talking. Um, Chris says, as long as they're not talking about you, yes, we can hear them giggling. Okay. French Friday. It's the same as giggling in English, but the accents are on the different syllables. Um, so yeah, to get back on track, um, would you say that, like, is setting up camp really a ritual? Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, you do it every time you go to camp. It's like I was wondering if maybe I should have separated out, camp setup from little little things you do for yourself, kind of thing. But I mean, for some people, setting up. I mean, for me, sometimes cleaning my fountain pens is a ritual that I just zen out with, and I just live in the moment, and it sort of it calms down my head. Like every single night, I update my dailies in this, like my gratitudes and all that stuff, and I put an entry into my 5-year journal. It's a ritual that I do not let drop. Sometimes I'll have a little whiskey while I'm doing it, sort of as a nightcap. Sometimes I won't. Um, but I feel that it puts me in a better mood before bed to do these things. Oh yes, which is an element of this ritual question I wanted to ask you guys. I have a bazillion rituals that I do because it calms the demons a little bit, or puts me in a better mood. Do any of you guys have rituals like that? And that is very much the camp in which sitting next to the fire and just enjoying and breathing the moment. It's very much sort of it's very much a headspace thing as well as it is all the other stuff, right? So I wonder, like, I feel that maybe with Country Boy, organizing the axes and the wood might be a headspace thing for sure. It might be calming for him to see it all done or to be actively organizing. But like, is there a difference between like just ritual you do without anything behind it, just because it's what you do? Like, I like to set up the outside of the camp. The missus likes to set up the camper. So you just do it versus I like to arrange the axes by size on the left side of the wood pile, right? Because something like that, if you're going to be as specific as that, there might be an OCD thing there, but in which case it's definitely on the headspace side. This is why I'm no fun at parties, guys. I mean, this is the kind of thing I think about. This, and like, I find it endlessly fascinating that the moon is far enough away from the Earth that if you grabbed Jupiter and brought it over, you could drop it between the Earth and the moon. You wouldn't have a whole lot of space left over, but that's how far away the moon is. Yikes. These are the things that occupy my headspace. So, I mean, yeah. Um, well, yeah, like, do any of you guys have any rituals that you just do for the plain enjoyment and the calming nature of it? I should probably catch up with the side make chitty make chat, chitty chat, chatty make chit. I see better. Hold on, I'm gonna sort of go up until I have reached something that I know. No, Russell just giggled in English. No, you got to get the accent right. Apparently, David knows or has heard that David only kisses in French. Russell can confirm that David kisses in French. Good to know. Beto, how you doing? How's it going, Mr. Beto? How are the things in your side of the world? Beto, by the way, is a channel hero at the moment. Speaking of channel heroes, I did say that Cody and I did our latest hot sauce video. It's just I need to edit it. And it's really hard to find time to edit right now, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to put it up and you're going to love it. And especially Country Boy is, because he's the one who supplied us with the Country Boy has made very generous use of my my package PO box. Package PO box makes it sound like I'm talking about a glory hole, but I'm not. I mean the PO address for package mail, because I told you guys I got rid of the letter box PO box because that one is expensive, whereas the address for package mail is free. I need to stop using the word package right now and move on. But yeah, so I'm gonna get that video up for my members as soon as I can. Country Boy says camp setup is a ritual, and I understand that for sure. There's an enjoyment I get. Like camp setup, I enjoy because there's a sense of relief that I'm not in the city anymore. Right, I'm away from the diesel stink. But there's also a sense of the word that's coming to my head is expectation, but it's not that of that camping is coming. A sense of what am I looking for? I'm glitching. A sense of not apprehension, because apprehension is the same thing, but it's kind of nervous. But anyways, yeah. Oh, that a second here. Everything jumped, so I'm just trying to find where I was. Oh well. This is an interesting comment. Christy says, setup is a ritual for us for sure. Backing in, leveling, unhooking. Hopefully the backing in goes good, because otherwise the rest of the setup is in silence. That's really funny. Hold on. Hi, good. Mike says, I always have rituals because I am OCD. That's a hard thing to live with for sure, especially if you also happen to live with a slob. I mean, I'm not speaking from family experience at all. Peanut Trucker says, I'd say for the outside of the camper, I have to have everything in its place, nothing laying around. I try to live that life. I really do. I try to live that life. I try to everything in its place and nothing out of its place. I try so hard. It looks terrible on my desk right now and around my desk. I mean, I'm starting ADHD coaching to help me with that for sure. I hope it works because it's expensive as hell. But yeah, I love the idea of having a camp where everything just is in its place. I love that idea. But I can't do it for some reason. And the reason is my head. Peanut Sugar says, just like my truck, everything has a place and I camp every night. Russell is asking, what do you think about knife sharpening while sitting at the campfire? Tool maintenance is part of my camp ritual for sure. I do it. I was about to say I do it before supper. I do it when there's still enough light that I can see what I'm doing. It's easier if I do it after having supper, because then I've cleaned and I'm caring for my camp kitchen knife as well. Doesn't always work out that way. because it's you can do it by starlight, but it's really better if you've got at least the golden hour, right? The sun's going down, but at least you've got some daylight left. But yeah, because I was going to say that I even enjoy, for me, a ritual is when we come home or I come home, you know, throw the tent downstairs, whatever. But I enjoy washing and then maybe honing up my tools when I get home. To me, that's part of the trip. It's part of it's one of the rituals I do. You clean up and you sharpen or hone or strop up your tools and you put them to bed. Or you leave them in the drying rack and your wife comes down in the morning and is like, "Really?" I will take the question at face value rather than what I think you're asking. A flex, whatever it's called, flex delivery address on, I believe, my profile page, like in YouTube. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Because I don't even know if I'm making sense here. I'm gonna close this window. Yes. And then I will go over here, open a new YouTube window. YouTube. Um, view your channel. Hey, am I buffering tonight? By the way, more. Yes. Okay. So look, I will share my screen and I will show you. I'm pretty sure Russell was just saying using a little single entendre, but I'm gonna take him at his. I'm gonna take the question at face value. So, like, they reorganized this page a little bit, but like you used to have an about, but now it's just sort of here on your. I got to rewrite this description for sure. But yeah. Oh no, I didn't take the letter mail out. I got to do that because that box doesn't exist anymore. It was just way too expensive for getting like two things a year kind of thing. I just. Ugh. So now I got to figure out what to do because the other address is no good for anything that comes like in a small envelope or like a postcard or anything like I asked you guys to send me. Um, but I really cannot anymore give out my home address. So I got to figure out what to do, or put a letter in sort of a big bubbly mailer envelope and pretend that it's a package kind of thing. But I mean that's expensive, and I'm not going to tell people to do that to send me postcards or something. So yeah, ignore this because that's damn it. I'm gonna have to edit that like right the hell away. I'll do it as soon as we're done here. In fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself a note to do it. In my brain book. In the important side of my daily to-do list. Come on, fool. Wish it focused faster. The reason I started with these Canon, like the 70, well, I didn't have a 70D. I got the 80D and now the 90 is because at that point it had the best autofocus in the business. But I think Sony, the Alphas, have an absolutely killer autofocus. Like, I hold something and it goes snap. But I'm not reinvesting in lenses. Like a new camera that I can't afford plus lenses. No. I cannot see myself changing anytime soon. If I could put something more affordable here and get the same kind of quality or the same functionality, because right now I've got my 90D here, which is supposed to come with me to the woods, but I can't be arsed to reach over my screens and undo blah 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 every single time. It's hooked up through an HDMI cable to my computer. If I could get something else and then not have that sitting there and then start bringing that to the woods again, that would be great. But I want it to be something that's DSLR quality. I don't want to replace it with like a little webcam or something like that. Yeah, Country Boy, I agree. I was moving on right along past it. Russell was trying to stay there, but I just moved up right along. Peanut sugar, it's not going to work. I got to figure out something because I don't want you to have to send a box with a postcard in it. Um, but I just had to do a security audit of my online life. Um, like I changed up a lot of stuff on like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Probably haven't done enough, but I really, yeah, I gotta, whatever. Gross. Marcus says, great time to sharpen the knife, especially while staring at the person sitting across from you. Marcus, what? What are we talking about here? Jim says, I have to have more firewood than I think. I'm constantly processing OCD level stuff. Really interesting. Hi, with Mike, on the other hand, is suffering from camping withdrawals right now. You got the shakes? Russell says, great idea, Marcus. Always maintain eye contact. Scott, you hearing this? There you go. I was looking for that. Country boy, I always maintain eye contact while sharpening my knife around the campfire. Keeps people on their toes all night. All night long. God, I can't wait until that doesn't happen anymore. Russell asks, what's the best campfire activity other than stalking the fire or cooking? I think staring and ruminating. Okay, but you know what? Let's open that up. What do you guys think is the best thing to do at the campfire? Not including like food prep, maybe. I mean, because it's easy to say, are you kidding? Making supper over a fire. That's the best thing. And I agree. But I'm not sure if that's the spirit in which Russell asked that question. Country boy, mission accomplished. Or Russell, to a certain extent, I would say that making supper at the campfire is the best damn thing. I love it. Cooking. I would eat a wiener if it's cooked over a fire. And I hate hot dogs. I don't like, I am not one who eats the Frankfurter. But if I cook it on a stick over a campfire, I will enjoy that thing, man. In fact, I think I enjoyed one of those during a video, one of the family countryside, like when we rented that Airbnb way out in the countryside. And I think Camille and I did a knife safety video. But I'm sorry. I'm like, man, you kidding me? Probably draw the line at spam or bologna, but like cooking something over a fire, how the hell does it get better than that? I'll tell you what, it doesn't. That's the thing. That's the answer. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. And every time I talk about this, I remind myself that I really want one of those camp-oriented Dutch ovens. They always have the feet, which is not ideal, but whatever. And they have that sort of the convex, the concave top instead of the convex, so you can put coals on it. I still don't have one. They're expensive. Well, and it's just I'm not actively trying to buy one. I'm passively trying to get one. So like I can go months without even looking at them, but man, that will be so cool. But also, it's hard to justify buying camp-oriented stuff when I'm not going anywhere this year. I was too late to get a campsite at a setback, right? You know, oh, you want to go camping in June, July? You got to get at a setback. You've got to book in October, and my head doesn't let me organize that well. I should give myself a like I should put it into my phone like for October. Get campsite. And I haven't gone to anyone's place. No one seems to have availability, and I haven't won the lottery, so I don't own a little plot of land anywhere. I better work on that part. So it's hard to really go hard into I must buy these. That's also why I haven't bought that number 4 flat ground yet. Because it will be the best damn camp cooking knife. But what's the point? Where am I going to camp cook? You know, right now it would be lying around in a box in the back room over there. What am I going to do? Look at it adoringly every now and again? No. When there's a hope in hell, a chance in hell, a thing in hell, when there's a possibility that I'm going to go actual camping, then I'll be like, gotta get these things, gotta find them. The Dutch oven, I may just have to find used or something because I think, yeah, it's tough to spend what those things are brand new for something that you use as seldomly as you do a camp item. Christy says, making drinks. I would, when I rework my bushcraft cocktails, and guys, it's going to come. It will come. It's just, it may come at the end of August or the beginning of September because don't know what the hell I'm going to do while I'm in Alberta. But I would love to create some cocktails that are specifically designed to be made next to a campfire. You're going to need running water because you got to keep your stuff cold. But what can you do when there's no possibility of using ice for mixing or like you can't pour it over a rock in a rocks glass, right? Like cocktails designed to be drunk from a kuksa, something like that. I really hope I don't forget this. There are 4 pens right here, but there's no ink in any of them because I just cleaned them up because I'm not using them often enough. Remember, somebody send me a texto or a message on Russell's Discord to design cocktails to be drunk, to be mixed around the campfire, mixed and drunk around the campfire from like an enamel cup or a kuksa, no ice. Mark Davidson says onto Christian grounds, summer camping, Tanqueray and tonic. I give off the image of being somewhat snooty when I'm doing my cocktails because I am, but I like to have Tanqueray around. I think it's a great mixing gin. I don't even have a problem. Some people are like, I don't do Beefeater. I only do Hendrix. Oh yeah, great. I wish I had your wallet But in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with Beefeater, and there sure as hell ain't anything wrong with Tanqueray. They're both solid choices. Solid. Solid. No buffering. Yes, I'm so glad to hear that because, like, I just assume every week that's at some point I'm gonna get buffered right the hell off the system, you know? Christy says that my summer drink is vodka tonic. Used to drink Tanqueray. Vodka tonic? Why not just drink tonic? I mean, vodka doesn't bring anything to the table. Vodka never brings anything to the table. There's a cocktail here. This is from Kenya, I think. It's an African cocktail. It's a legit African cocktail. And I have to find it now that I've mentioned it. Kanchanchara, Lover's Lock, Sleigh Ride. Nope. No. I'm looking for. That's an Ameripicon. Do-it-yourself Ameripicon is not what I'm looking for. Gotta scratch my nose. The Star, the Shadow Negro, Sidecar. Can't go wrong with a sidecar. The Coleman, which you guys are very familiar with since I built it with you guys. Chocolate Martini. The 4th of July. That's a terrible name. I'm going to redo that. The Widowmaker. This is Dawa. Listen up. You quarter a lime, you throw it into a lowball glass. You add a tablespoon of sugar, and you muddle until the sugar is moist. Add some ice to the glass. Add 2 ounces of vodka. And then dip a dawa stick into a jar of honey and stir lightly into the drink. A dawa stick is wooden stick, very often carved with some sort of African totemy thing. You dip it into honey and you stir it into the drink. The only thing vodka does is bring octane. Like if you buy a good enough vodka, there's no taste to it. There's no taste. It's not, oh, this is so nutty. No, that's not a high-end vodka. I mean, unless it's an actual flavored vodka. So I don't tend to use vodka very much. There are a couple of drinks I use it for. I've even designed drinks with vodka in them as sort of the main part of the show, but I'm never like I'm never gonna be a huge vodka fan, but sorry guys. It has its place, but I very rarely use it. I do want to make a dawa. Dawa sticks are very bloody expensive. So I'm just going to use like one of those, you know, that honey thing that you can dip into your kind of, it's got a ball on the end, but it's slotted or whatever. I'm just going to use that. Chris says vodka and tonic is her favorite drink right now. I love tonic water though. Like that sounds good to me because sometimes with a gin and tonic, if you got a very cucumbery tonic and a very evergreeny gin, they can kind of fight. But with vodka, your tonic, if you've got a really good tonic, you can really let that tonic shine. You know, because the vodka is not fighting with it; it's just bringing octane and obviously volume, making it an undeniably boozy drink for sure. But the reason I like Tanqueray so much is because it's a very I don't know what the English term for is, but we in French we say polyvalent. Polyvalent means it means you can use it for many things, multi-purpose, I guess. Like Tanqueray can fit with almost anything, right? It makes a fabulous gin and tonic. Um, it works with any gin drink, whereas some of the Hendrix, like, what's that, Orbium? Oh, actually, that's fabulous, but, like, some of the more citrusy uh, or, like, specialty gins that are fruitier or whatever, like, because a lot of people are experimenting with gin now. They don't work with everything. A good Beefeater, or a Tanqueray works with everything, and that's why these bottles are an excellent, um, investment for your bar cart, because 'cause they're not gonna not work. They're not the most spectacular or unique gins, but that's the magic of them. You can use them in anything, and that's why they're the baseline for cocktails. I've lost my mouse. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's really expensive. Having a PO box didn't used to be that expensive, but it's really expensive. Like, it's awful. And I just kept forgetting to go and check it because it's far away. Yeah, just take a picture. I don't want you spending money on it. I like when you told me that you'd send something and you got it back, I felt really bad about it. So just Marcus says, "Are the crowns based on how many times you leave a chat?" I don't know how it works. They have I think they have I think it's how often you leave a chat. Country Boy thought that you needed to be a paying member, but I don't know if that's true. If I click on top fans, no, that's not information. That's just okay. Top fans and XP. What's the leaderboard? A place for fans to stand out in the community. What's good is that doesn't say members to stand out. The top three get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points or XP. Here's how you get them. Send live chat messages. Send super chats and super stickers. You see? That's where they're getting your wallet. Don't send super chats or super stickers just to get the little crown. That's no. I would not want you to feel that you have to do that. The crown doesn't mean anything anyway. It's just YouTube is just gamifying it. Oh, well, now here's the thing. It's gamifying it to get people to spend some money on the super chats and stuff because they take 30% of my take. So I'm like, it's just gamifying. I am such a victim for gamified stuff. That's why I'm at 1,500 days on Duo, Duolingo, because it's gamified, which means I'm going to keep doing it. In fact, excuse me while I do it right now. Just kidding. Ooh, it's 10:39. Um. Oh no. Hold on. Oh no. Everything jumped. Hold on. Hold on a second here, people. Everything jumped, and now I'm like, fudge. I just got to scroll back a little bit. I'm just scrolling back a little bit. I'm trying not to. La 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 la. How much did I miss? Yeah, do that and save on a stamp for sure. Gonna be $1 for a stamp soon. Ha ha ha, he said, living in Canada. Yes, stamps still exist. Peanut trucker. Oh, I see. Because you've got there's a daughter. Okay, got it. Um, Russell says, "Okay, it's a warm night, no bugs, sky is clear. Do you have a fire or do you stare at the stars?" That's a great question. That's a very good question. I do love staring at the stars, but there's so much more that comes from a campfire, right? Because there's more. There's the visual warmth of it. There's the actual warmth of it. But I'm trying to figure out, like, if you put red filters on all your lights, you're not ruining your night vision, right? So you can walk out. You got a flashlight with a red filter on it. You can find your way to the bathroom or whatever, and you can still see the stars because you haven't wrecked your night vision. I don't think that's true of a fire, but does anyone know if that's true of like the firelight as well? But I do love to stare at the stars. I really do. I get lost in them. I get lost in the distance in the astronomy of it. Like, oh, there's the goose. There's the seven sisters. There's millions of years of light traveling to hit my eyeball. Billions in some cases. I wish I understood the math of it though. Like when I was diagnosed, I went through such intense grief over the life I will never get to live, interspersed with like absolute fist shaking rage over the life I will never get to live because I love science. I love science. I love astronomy. I love astrophysics. I love the mechanism of the universe. But the language of the universe is math. And I didn't get math because my brain is not oriented towards consequences, it's oriented towards interest. So I feel the enormity when I stare into a deep, deep star field, but I don't speak the language required to understand the setups, the workings. I've said this before, all I get is the punchlines, you know? So definitely sitting by a campfire, but I will unerringly, if it's a clear night, find some time to stare up at if it's a if it's a clear night and it's a moonless night, like there ain't no moon blowing everything out, I might forego the campfire for that, for sure, because that's where the Milky Way isn't just a sort of a pale stripe across the sky. It's a roiling expanse of like clouds. You can see the shape of it. You can see ugh. There was a camping trip I took, which is wrong. There's a hunting trip I took to the Gaspé. I went on two, but we were throwing a lot of money and we didn't get moose either time. So I was like, I think I might not go anymore. But I just remember one night I stepped out of the camper because we had like our hunt camp there was a camper, but like they'd taken the wheels off and just sort of put it on blocks kind of thing. I went out of the camper to go take a piss. I walked all the way, probably about, I don't know, 300 meters away kind of thing. Like the point where it was on a tree farm. So where our camper was the back corner of a lot that had been cleared. So I walked and walked and walked, and I took my piss. And I turned back, and I saw this is the Gaspé, not urban. This was like a Gaspé. So it was a moonless, clear night, And thank the gods it was a clear night, because otherwise there was no way I could see my way back. But I saw just this, blackness and this ghostly shape of our little camper off in the distance with the orange glow of a window. And then sort of the silhouettes of evergreens, and then above that, a field of stars, and across it was this roiling band of clouds, which was the Milky Way. And I looked back at the cabin, well, the camper. I'm so far away from my mic. I'm sorry, people. Just in time to see a shooting star. And when there's no light, a shooting star is not just a brush stroke. No, it was like this bubbling thing, and then it's just and you never get to see that from the city. You never get to see that, right? Like, you saw it. You saw the burning, and and like right above where our thing was, it just poof, and it was gone. I have no memories of my childhood practically. I have no memories of my young adolescence before 20, but I do have certain memories of certain events in my life that I hope never leave me. Christy does both. I probably would too. I would sit at the fire until it burned down, and then I would lean back and stare at some stars until the mosquitoes chased me inside or something. Country was good job. Would have been a shame to waste that last couple of drams. Yeah, I yeah, I'm gonna miss that bottle for sure. Absolutely for sure. The fire does kill your nightly skyfish. I think it does. Yeah, I think you're right. Fried bologna sandwich. Okay. I have never said bologna in my life. I always say bologna, but you know, a dram and a half in. David says the stitches are out and you're now doing physio. Is that Pam typing through David's account? Russell, you got sandwich toasters for campfire. Works like a waffle iron, but they're on long rods. That sounds amazing. Um, that sounds fabulous. Christy says, I would be sitting far away from the fire since it is a warm night, but I can see from the corner of my eye and still smell it. Mm-hmm. Why is that daughter of mine still up? Russell says, oh, check this out. I misplaced my Grumman number 1 and hadn't seen it for a while. I found it outside on the ground. Must have been there months. It's still in the sheath. Stainless, right? So you're not dealing with a blade full of rust, right? Mark's out, and I am way too late to say goodnight to him, I'm sure. He said goodnight at 10:28. Yeah, and it's 22:50. So sorry. Rats. Well, good night, Mark, even though I'm way too late. But yes, I'm also glad that you found it. That would be a true tragedy. You know what's funny? I had this thought a couple of days ago that I've mentioned to you guys before, the video that somebody did on his Grumman number 1 that he's had for 40 years. And how I love that, and how like that must feel like his oldest slippers kind of thing, and how when you've used a tool, in my case, it would be like a bass guitar, for that long, there's a comfort value there that you cannot deny. And I realized recently that I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to get to say that on a YouTube video someday about my Grumman number one or something. Like, I'm not going to have, I have used this tool for the past 40 years. Makes me sad. Everyone saying good night to Mark. Yeah, Christy, I'm gonna redo those, but I want to do them. I want to like see if we can redesign them together on a live like on a live, each one. I need the time to do it. That's the thing. I need the time to do it. Right now, I need to learn 3 songs for our Alberta gigs coming up, and I'm leaving on the 8th of August. So, and there's a lot of other stuff going on right now. But yes, it is in my plan for sure, and you will be there on those live streams, I hope. Destiny, my laptop's on its last hurrah. Images from open tabs are bleeding through. Maybe onto the iPhone next live. So when my laptop finally goes, I think I'm going to replace it with an iPad. I'm sure of it, because I'm done throwing like $2.5, $3 at a laptop every time, because I may want to use it as a mobile editing solution. My current laptop is a 11-year-old MacBook Pro, which is slow. The battery's finished on it. One of the shift keys kind of doesn't work. And it's frustrating to work with, but it still works. I'm not using it for video editing. But when it really gives up the ghost, it will fairly soon, I want to replace it with an iPad with the keyboard case. My daughter has an iPad. We had to buy her one for school. There was no choice. We bought her the most affordable of the 3 options they gave us. It's an iPad Air. And since it took me 30 seconds of messing around on hers to realize that I want this exact machine for myself one day. I can put the Apple video editing solution on it. Final Cut Pro, they have an iPad version. I just love the idea of sitting on the couch watching something, or like sitting at the table after supper and just pulling out my iPad and editing part of a video and then transferring it to this machine here and finishing it, because I would not finish my video on the iPad for sure. I didn't spend big money on this editing machine to retire it in favor of an iPad. But yeah. Never piss another person's cocktail. You're absolutely right. I don't know what the beefeater means. Oh, beefeater, right. Marcus says, then you will be in my world with the phone. Yes, I feel that every time I've ever had you either on here, which was once, or done a video call with you, you've always been on your phone. Cherry vodka and tonic is really good. That is interesting. Okay, I did not know that. Russell says, how's about cherry Dr. Pepper? Marcus says, what's a good tonic? No such thing. That is not entirely true. That is not true. But it's just like, you got to spend, right? Like the Fever Tree tonics, they've got a couple of fabulous ones. They got a couple that I really don't like. But I think if you're not buying the bottom end, like the Schweppes or Canada Dry or whatever, If you up your spending a little bit to the Fever Tree or there's another one I'm glitching on, but um, I think tonic water is a beautiful thing. It's a very bitter thing for sure, but I do love cocktails with tonic in them. Whittling by the campfire, I do love. It's just it has to be before I crack open my booze for the night, right? Like once there's the crack of a can or the pop of a cork, all the sharps are put away. Period. Period. Christy likes gin too, and as do I. Oh my land, we're almost at 11. Hold on. And I completely agree, David. You can't beat a good gin and tonic with a wedge of lime. I absolutely agree. That is so legit. You're not making rum anymore, Russell? You should make some more rum. Send me a bottle. I'll review it. Gin martini with blue cheese, stuffed olives too. So, a couple of things that I would like to say about that. I cannot eat olives, so nope. Not a huge fan of blue cheese. So context is key. But yeah, I do like a gin martini. I have 2 recipes that I use all the time. No, I don't. I have 2 recipes that I use most often. One is a very old recipe that calls for an Old Tom gin, which I don't have any of right now. Old Tom is a very storied version of gin that almost no one makes anymore. It's a little sweeter, a little more sort of a little bigger in the flavor, but it's the gin that was available in London essentially, um, 2 or 300 years ago when you used to go up to a little pipe in the wall, throw a shilling through a slot, and the guy inside would throw a slug of gin down the pipe into your mouth kind of thing. It's a very a very historical tasting gin for sure. Um, some distillers have brought it back. It was kind of gone for a long time, but some distillers have brought it back. And it does make a very good 1830s era martini for sure. For me, by the way, just continuing on that, I'll put a cocktail onion in a martini way before I'll put an olive because I don't want to throw up. I can't like olives, Oh, an olive. Oh, there's like practically no delay between the two. Jim is, I guess, home because he made a Bacardi and Diet Coke. Skipped your normal beer. All right. Enjoying the hard alcohols with us. I was having whiskey tonight. I have just finished off. I just want to get the last couple of drops out of this bottle because I'll feel like I wasted it otherwise. Well, a couple is too. So I got the last couple of drops. So yeah, Bacardi and Coke, Bacardi and Diet. That is what Christy's hubby drinks. Bacardi and Diet Coke. David says that Pam likes martinis. I will pass along your suggestion. I got suggestions if she likes martinis. Country says apparently Christy talks the most. LT says, good night, going to bed, work tomorrow. Good night, LT. Oh, it's 11. Let me just scroll to the bottom. I'll just... Pam likes the vodka martinis with cranberry juice, shaken, not stirred. You gotta stir a martini, though. Tell Pam to try Cosmo, then. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Jim says, always have a fire. Love the campfire cologne. I also love the campfire cologne. I wish that Mrs. loved it as much as I did. Let me tell ya. David says, Pam is fine, still doing physio, but the mobility in her arm is improving. Camille, I just took Camille to physio today for her ankle. Where would we be without a physiotherapist, eh? I need to compromise on the campfire. Start at 7, enjoy for a few hours, let it die out, enjoy the night sky. Excellent choice. Excellent suggestion, actually. Jim says, my wife has a Schmidt ton, nice, of quilts her mom started. She can never live long enough to finish them, let alone put them on her long arm. I love quilts. I'm never going to own one because, but there's I don't want to say old world charm to them because that makes it sound like I'm talking about Europe, but like my mom used to do some quilts back in the 70s with like a quilting group and stuff. And I don't know, I really like quilts. I don't own one right now. I have had one before, but like it was from when I was a kid, so it was like a kid's blanket that a bunch of whatever. But yeah, you saw a doe at the salt block. Doe, a deer. David says Pam sometimes pays to have her quilts finished by a lady who owns a long arm machine. Okay, I get it. Peanut Trucker says that smoked bologna is the best. Our current barbecue can also work as a smoker, so I'm looking forward to smoking something, maybe a brisket. Russ says on the Grumman number 1, the blade, handle, and sheath are still in perfect shape. There's discoloring on the handle that was exposed. That's all amazing. I love that. Should take pictures and send it to Grumman. All right. I'm scrolling down to the bottom. I'm finishing my one more dram. Russell. Thanks to you people. I will probably be dreaming about campfires all night. Russell says, let's talk about how to build a campfire. Rock, circle, yes or no. Dig a hole. Okay, so interesting question, but after this, I'm going the hell to bed. I don't make a rock ring because I don't know enough about rocks to know which ones will explode and which ones will not. Like when they're heated up by a fire. So I never use rocks for anything. Like, some people throw down a rock and cook their steak on it. I don't. I don't know enough. Is this one going to blow up or not? That's why I never ever do it. But I wish I knew. Like I wish I knew which rocks were which. This is granite, okay? What does that mean? Like I have tree recognition books, yes, and stuff like that, but I don't have anything for recognizing rocks. This is an igneous rock that you will find in areas related to the Canadian Shield. Use for X. Do not use for Y. And for land sakes, don't use it for Z kind of thing. Russell says that next week I should have everyone on screen, a real conversation. We would have to have some variant of like the speaking stick. Because what I've noticed is that if you get more than like three people online, maybe 4, people start talking over each other and it gets frustrating really fast. Chris, yes, how many people can be on there? I don't know. Maybe we should test it one day soon. I wanted to test it before we do like our whiskey tasting that we haven't done yet. Jim wants to plan this. Okay, we'll chat. We'll talk. We'll talk. Okay. David's out to go see a to go to bed so he can see a Blue Jays game tomorrow. Fair enough. All right, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Even though Jim is finally home, I'm starting to fall asleep, and I have to clean the kitchen before I go to bed. Pam made you a quilt. That's amazing. I hope you felt very, very not privileged. I hate that word, but like I hope you were very thankful because that's amazing. No, I finished my one more jam. And everyone's left except us. Look, Jim's out too. Okay, he's gonna have 3. Okay, I'll have one more small dram. We'll go until like it's 11:07 now. We'll go until 11:15, and then done. You are the speaking stick. You are the moderator. You can do eat. You are the speaking stick. You are the monitor. Moderator. Feel the power. Enjoy the power. Love the power. Feel the burn of the power as it slowly turns you into a monster. You can test it when I do the drink makeovers for sure. I have to. Oh yeah, that's amazing. I mean, because I've seen Pam's work. Right? There's a huge quilt hanging down one of their walls. I've seen her work, and her work is terrific. I love it. I really can't go to 11:30. No way. Destiny, I need to regain my status on the top participants list. And then Country was like, stop it. Russell said that David's Pam has won awards. Absolutely. I absolutely believe that. Her work is so good. Russell, she's not a floozy. I mean, she may be one way or the other. Country Boy Trapped in the City has done something. I don't know what though. Country Boy Trapped in the City has been a member 27. Well, I'm glad. Raspberry Rock donated $10 for me to go to 11:30. I love it. I love the reactions. I love it. Hold on. So, Country Boy celebrates 27 months of memberships, which you get a certain amount of free super chats like that as a member. I've never used one. I used one on one of Russell's streams once. I think you get one of those a month. And then Russell is like, I'm going to give him $10. I mean, the thing is, I want to go to 11:30. I want to go to 12. I want to go to 1, but I have to be at work in the morning. So if I go to like 11:30, Christy, really, Russell, I love that. That's the perfect reaction. Why is my daughter still up? She's taking the summer vacation thing way too seriously. That's how I roll, he says. Then Christy celebrates 35 months of membership. 35 months is good. 35 months makes me happy. I think Jim is reminding you guys to hit that thumbs up, by the way. You don't have to work tomorrow. Call it hungover. I gotta work tomorrow because I'm taking Thursday off for reasons that uh, Christy, no, I'm working from the office tomorrow. So I must be there. I must drop the youngest daughter off at summer camp kind of early. Russell, I don't think you're wrong about that. I think you or David were my first members. Ian popping in. Holy crap. But I'm not going to 12. Nice to see you, man. How are things? How's it going? Oh, you're just starting up to 11:30. Okay, I'll go to 11:30, but then I'm really shutting her down and I'm eating cheese and going to bed. Eating cheese, brushing teeth, and going to bed. Jim, I thought you were telling people to thumbs up. I thought you were doing me a solid, not just pressuring me to go to 11:30. I'm so tired though. So tired. Oh, now I'm yawning for real. The way yawning works is awful. It's like, oh, there's a person over there yawning. Ha ha ha. Booty booty boom boom boom. No, that's true, Russell. I can talk about campfires all night. The problem is that I'm starting to lose coherence. I think you're right about that, Russell. I think you are the first. And I even remember telling you that. So yeah, I think you're right. I think you're number firm. Number first, number one. My second video was of an upside down fire. And that fire done burned forever. It just kept going. And so now, like, whenever I make like a campfire in a fire pit at a campsite or something, I'm like, why am I not making an upside down fire? And yet, for some stupid reason, I still do, the typical fire. Like an upside down fire takes a little more work to set up, but the payoff is so good, right? Because you've got this fire that just keeps going and burns pretty clean, generally speaking. I mean, if it's all pine or something, no, but it burns itself right down to ash. You know, it's absolutely. Hold on a second here. Hold on, Jim. We're going to 11:30. Fire going at the off-grid cabin to remove damp and keep warm smells great, says Ian. Jim says 3 is gone. I need to go. Good night, everyone. Jeez. Okay. Russell says you drink like a freshwater fish, Jim. We're getting a little nasty here. Is that what's happening here? We don't got to be nasty with each other. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think Ian has a great point for sure. Yeah, damp is terrible. Fire is great. Oh my god, Shawnee, you missed the live stream. As technically, because I should have been out of here like 15 minutes ago. Uh, uh, been busy. Eldest is attending survival camp this week, and changed our routine. Survival camp is good. I did survival. Well, no, I didn't. I did a survival weekend as part of junior leadership school when I was in the Royal Canadian Air Cadets. Sorry. Damp is terrible. Fire is great. Oops, I totally took that off screen too fast. So Chrissy asked an interesting question because it kind of gets at why I don't do an upside down fire all the time. I like to do a cabin fire because I feel that it gets you to the that part fastest. An upside down fire does take longer to sort of pick up and go, and it doesn't have the same traditional comforting feel to it as just a I mean, I prefer the cabin fire over the TP fire, or I do like kind of a lean-to. If I got like a big log that had been burnt, I will lay that and then put everything sort of leaning up against it with some tinder underneath. But the thing about the upside down is it just keeps burning. It just goes and goes and goes. I love that. So that was a good question, Christy. I enjoyed that question because I liked the way I like that question because it gets at one has to think to answer a question like that because each of those three have benefits in certain areas. I don't do a TP fire. I don't see the benefit to it. It lights quickly, great, but it also falls apart too fast. The log cabin fire, I think, is the ideal kind of get a fire going fast and enjoy the warmth right away thing. The upside down fire can really do you well for like things like cooking, or if you're bedding down and you don't want to have to wake up at 3 a.m. to rebuild your fire kind of thing. It might be able to help with that. Oh, Shawnee had to get a good salve out for all the bug bites and the scratches and the rash for sure. Russell is pouring something. Pour fast. 11:30 is coming up. Steve, about time you all got here. Where you been? Well, you've probably been sitting at Christy's shoulder. She's learning carving, making fire, water filtration, navigation, and shelter. Nice. Love it. Would love to send my daughter on a camp like that. Shani will have to watch the replay. I support you in that. I think it's a great idea. Shani says pounds of peppers and cucumbers coming in from the garden. We have a couple of cukes and some peppers starting to really show themselves. If the squirrels don't get at them, we're going to have some nice stuff. Country Boy says, I live in a rainforest. Upside down fires don't start so easily. Log cabin all the way for me. Upside down doesn't start easily anywhere. Like where I live, it's very much maples, beech, pine. Yeah, a lot of pine and more fir and spruce than pine, but oak, maple, beech, birch. Birch is technically a softwood, but an upside down fire is not going to catch as well or as quickly as a teepee or a log cabin fire for sure. Okay, he was sitting next to him playing his game. Then he was watching Sullivan's Crossing. What game was he playing? What the hell game am I playing? I haven't played in so long. I'm kind of concentrating on Baldur's Gate 3 right now. Amazing game. I didn't quite say that, Russell. Though I could see where you would see that now that I'm thinking about it. Come on, sinuses, leave me alone. Here you go. Dram's finished. Water incoming. I feel the need to reshoot not a lot of my older stuff, but some of it. Like I would love to do Upside Down Fire 13 years later. And see if my thoughts on the Upside Down Fire have changed at all since I made that first one in episode number 2 of my channel, all the way back in 2013, when I was like 30 pounds lighter. Oh, he's been playing Apex? Okay, I haven't played Apex. Russell needs to get Apex and use your PC keyboard and mouse to destroy Steve and his friends. Okay. Or maybe they make you their bitch. I mean, it can go either way, really, with these games. Just saying. Water. Nectar of the gods. I don't know why, but I just thought of that film, The Gods Must Be Crazy, where some fool throws a Coke bottle out of a Cessna and it lands next to like a Zulu or something. I should watch that film again, actually. But Russell, what do you game on if you're not using your PC keyboard and mouse? Like, is it always your VR machine? Shawnee asks, could you recommend a desktop situation for me? I can answer questions to help narrow down. You asking me or Russell? Like, are you looking for a machine? Like a desktop machine? Russell says, Steve and his girlfriends only use controllers, so someone on the server comes in with superior keyboard and mouse skills and kills everyone. So Steve and his girlfriends cry like babies. I'm also a keyboard and mouse gaming person, for sure. I use the PC sitting under my desk. I would like to, this is an ATX. I would like to swap the case out for a micro ATX, but unfortunately that means throwing like what I've discovered is a lot of money at a new motherboard. But I would love it to be a lot smaller and just hanging off the bottom of my desktop. So one day when I've got an extra $400 hanging out, because I only have to change one component aside from the case, but it's the motherboard. Damn it. Russell says they try to ban keyboard mouse people, but that's just sour grapes for sure. Shawnee currently uses a laptop with a camera in it. Needs to do live streams, edit videos, don't know what size of graphics card, and RAM I need. I'm not techie, whoever shall answer. Don't ask me. He's an Apple guy. His thinking is skewed. Yeah, but I have a so the PC sitting under my desk has I shall consult the book of Jess. I'm on the wrong page. I entered it all in here so that next time I talk about maybe changing components, I will know exactly what. Because here's the thing about not going Apple is that you really have to know what the hell you're doing, or you will buy the wrong stuff. Nope, that's self-care, that's decluttering. Okay, so I have an Intel Core i7 8th gen at 3.7 gigahertz. That's a 300 series, by the way. My graphics card is a Radeon RX 7800 XT with 16 gigs of video RAM. I have 64 megs of RAM, 64 gigs, sorry, of RAM. No, my Mac has 64. My PC, I think, has 32 gigs of RAM. My power supply is a 750 watt, and I have SSDs. Do you want to know about my LAN ports or any of that? I bought it to be a Hackintosh. It was going great, and then it suddenly didn't. And then I gave up and just bought another Apple machine for work. And now this PC is it's literally only a gaming machine, an expensive gaming machine, but a pretty damn good one. Shiny doesn't want an apple, so buy a lemon. Who's gonna watch Happy Gilmore 2 on Friday? I have no idea. I didn't know that was happening. Nothing personal, says Country Boy. No, I take it personally, okay? But it's all right because I bruise easily, but I heal fast. Shawnee, so I used to sell computers. Obviously, I sold a lot of Macs, but I also sold a lot, like built up a lot of PCs for people. And it was at like a campus reseller. And I like whenever the women or the female students would come in and say, I just don't know, but my boyfriend thinks this, I would always say the following thing. You don't need to become a computer geek, but you need to know enough that I cannot sell you what you do not need. Because very often these poor girls would come in, and it's different now. Like making this statement tells you how long ago I was doing this, but at the time, these girls would walk in, and their boyfriends were gamer geeks, and so they would end up. The Quebec government gives a computer loan to students. It's up to $3,000. Anything above that, you're spending your own money. Anything below that, terrific. You don't owe them so much. But these these poor gals would walk in with their boyfriends who were like gamer geeks, and who would dictate over the women's heads almost what they needed, and it was always way too much. Like I will always say, if you're buying a computer, buy as much RAM as you can freaking afford. Period. That's it. No discussion. If you can, if the base model comes with 16 gigs of RAM, and you can in any way find it within your heart to find the money to pump that up to 64, do it, because there you're future proofing and avoiding kind of an expensive upgrade later down the line because of blah 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 blah. If you like video games at all, spend as much as you can on your video card. If you're not into video games, if you're literally just gonna word process and surf the net, you don't need a 16 gig video card. They're expensive as hell. Um, do you need to worry about fans? No, just buy fans. You just buy some fans. You know, you're gonna need one on the chip, You need a few on top. If you The thing is, very often when you buy a case, it'll come with some fans. Not great fans. You might have to add a few more, but you know they'll start you off. Ah, okay. It's 11:31. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. I'm starting to slur because I'm so damn tired because work and life. But everyone, we Shawnee, we can have this PC discussion on Sean on Russell's Discord for sure. But for now, between now and next week, I'm gonna go to bed. But everyone else, please be healthy, be safe, be sane, and be kind to one another. Good night, everyone.